KREM 2 News begins now.
Thank you for joining us on KREM 2 Plus. I'm Tim Pham. This is your KREM 2 News Week in Review. Join us as we take a closer look at some of the biggest stories in the Inland Northwest this past week.
Over the weekend, a transgender East Valley High School student won the girls' 400-meter race in the state championship. The winner's sex was assigned male at birth. Some critics say it's not fair that she won first place.
Spring high school sports is coming to a close. Just last weekend, Washington State students competed in the track and field state championship. This is video a spectator shared with us of the girls' 400-meter race, where a transgender student from East Valley High School won first place. At the podium, all of the athletes cheered for one another. But when the winner's name was called, the stadium went almost silent, while the other athletes put their hands behind their back.
And they must have been hurting and seething inside.
Beth Duran-Siang shared these videos that she took at the meet. She told me she went there to protest a transgender athlete competing in women's sports. Beth is against this because she calls it a biological advantage.
Sports is not about identity. It's about pure physical competition, and it should be fair. And we have girls' sports because boys' biology advantages them in many sports.
Do you agree with that?
Well, I think if that's what she said, I think that means that everybody would compete together. Boys and girls would be running races together.
Former Spokane firefighter Maeve Griffith says she transitioned 8 years ago. She doesn't claim to be an expert on this topic and doesn't know this student's story. But Maeve does believe everyone should be able to compete with their gender.
I don't know this person's story. I don't know how long they've been transitioning. I do know that I don't think anybody ever transitions from male to female in order to win medals.
The Washington Interscholastic Activities Association, or WIAA, hosts the Washington State Championship. They say its gender identity rules went into place 18 years ago. To their knowledge, this is the first instance of a transgender student athlete winning a state championship title.
And we have reached out to East Valley School District to request an interview with the student. We'll let you know when she and her family responds to that request. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
It's a problem.
Chief Allen with the Coeur d'Alene tribe says he couldn't sit quiet after what happened last Friday at McEwen Park.
4 adult men picking on kids and told them to go back to the Evan Reservation, you don't belong here.
The kids, just 13 and 14 years old.
They're good. Kids are resilient. We're resilient people. Something like this doesn't break us.
Instead of breaking, they're bringing attention.
I want the whole community to stand up and say, hey, not in our community. We need to stop this now. And it takes all of us.
This happened just a few months after a teenager yelled racial slurs at the Utah women's basketball team during March Madness. Earlier this month, the Coeur d'Alene city prosecutor decided not to charge that teenager. Now, another similar incident.
Don't pretend it's not going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening.
The Coeur d'Alene Tribal School did file a police report after the incident.
We're not very confident in that aspect, but that's not the main goal. The main goal is to bring light to this.
They're offering a $25,000 reward for the names of the people who yelled at the kids. Whether they find them or not, that doesn't change their stance.
We're the Coeur d'Alene tribe. We're not going anywhere. And if they think that, if some people think some ugly words are going to scare us and we're going to go hide behind a rock, they got another thing coming. We're not hiding. We're not going anywhere.
In Coeur d'Alene, Nicole Hernandez, KREM 2 News. Political science professor James Long and I talked about a lot. One thing, no matter what happens with the sentencing, this will affect the presidential election. Long said both Trump and Biden will try to use this guilty verdict to their advantage in the race. But Professor thinks we could start to see Trump slip in the polls because of the number of people who have said they'll support him unless he's found guilty.
I think what'll be interesting to watch is the degree to which the other Republicans in down the ballot races and local races either continue to sort of support him and be a vocal proponent of his, or try to distance themselves.
We also talked about what could happen at Trump's sentencing on July 11th. He could get anywhere from no time to 4 years of jail time for each of the 34 counts. But Professor Long says the judge will probably consolidate those charges, meaning Trump would face 0 to 4 years total. To decide, he says the judge will look at Trump's behavior through the trial and the history of cases like this in New York.
I do understand that people have served time in jail in New York for more or less the same charges.
And the big question I had for Professor Long, what happens to the presidential race if the judge decides to sentence Trump to jail time? He told me there's nothing set in stone, but a legal opinion from the Nixon administration says this.
The president could be in jail and run for president, even be elected, but they could not serve as president from jail.
That opinion focuses on federal charges, though. So no matter what, the courts will have to decide what happens if Trump gets jail time and is elected. Here are some of the options. 1, the courts could release Trump for his presidential term, then make him finish his sentence when his term is over. 2, they could invoke the 25th Amendment, saying he's incapable of being president and hand power down to his vice president. Or 3, Trump could step down himself.
I don't think he would, because he would like the protections that come with it, and it would allow him, should he be elected, to at least get rid of the federal charges.
Even though Trump's sentencing is before Election Day, Professor Long says Trump will likely appeal the decision. Plus, there's still the other federal charges Trump is facing as well. So either way, voters are going to have to decide with a lot of things up in the air. In studio, Nicole Hernandez, KREM 2 News.
The city of Spokane Valley has a new provider to help with unhoused people. Frontier Behavioral Health Services will soon help the unhoused with housing services. Rosanna Peterson has worked at Spokane Dream Center in Spokane Valley for more than a decade.
There's a lot more homeless, and they are learning to live on the street.
Spokane Dream Center is a church in Spokane Valley that helps unhoused people.
We just network to reach out to all those right now that have lost jobs, that have shattered lives, that are broken, that are on the street.
When she heard the city council voted Frontier Behavioral Health to help Spokane Valley's unhoused, she was overjoyed.
And it is amazing what they do, because they work again with all walks of life, and they make sure their clients get what they need.
In a 6-1 vote Tuesday evening, the Spokane Valley City Council voted to approve a contract that will have Frontier Behavioral Health run the city's homeless outreach services for 1 year.
Undoubtedly, outreach is a critical first step in the process of helping moving people from unstably housed or houseless to housed. So yeah, it's definitely critical.
Eric Robinson is Spokane Valley's housing and homeless coordinator. He's been working to find a partner organization since the summer of 2023.
Several thousand people just in the valley that don't have a primary nighttime residence.
The cost for the contract is $200,000. This money comes from real estate transaction fees in Spokane Valley. The money will go to hiring 1.5 full-time staff employees that will work on the outreach team.
Anything we can do now to prevent families from experiencing this now is working upstream to prevent homelessness in the future.
Peterson says she has hope that Frontier Behavioral Health will make an impact.
They'll help people get off the streets. Absolutely they will, and they stay by their client and make sure they get what they need.
Once the contract ends, Robinson says Frontier Behavioral Health could have the option to extend their services. Frontier Behavioral Health Services is expected to begin offering these new services in July. In Spokane Valley, Nathan Hahn, KREM 2 News.
For everything, there is a season, but for fans of Green Bluff peaches and cherries, this might not be the season.
Green Bluff farmer Derek Hansen knows a thing or two about cherries. He and his dad planted the first cherry tree at Hansen's Green Bluff orchard north of Spokane nearly 40 years ago.
It was probably a 3-foot whip. Most of them, when we get started, you know, they're 2-year-old trees. Take some cherries. It takes about 5 or 6 years to really get them producing.
Yeah.
Unlike this year.
The reason Hansen's laughing is because his cherry crop this year is lacking, to say the least.
Got probably enough cherries for the birds if we're lucky. And we didn't even have a single peach blossom on any of our trees. In fact, a lot of our trees actually died.
This year's been a tough season for his cherries and peaches, and he's not the only one on the bluff seeing it. So what's to blame? Hansen says the extreme drop in temperatures we experienced back in January did a number on his trees, with temperatures diving into the sub-zero realm.
Peaches, if we hit about 25 below zero, it'll just kill the tree dead. You know, they are not a winter hardy crop. And cherries are a tough tree. It's not going to kill them. However, they are very cold sensitive, and that's why we're right at the edge of cherry country too.
Speaking of cherry country, elsewhere in the Northwest could see a better season this year compared to the last few years. According to the organization Northwest Cherry Growers in Yakima, they're forecasting the Pacific Northwest could yield somewhere between 17 million to 19 million 20-pound boxes for this year's crop of cherries. As for Hansen, he says they'll focus on their other crops to pick up the slack.
One of the best things about farming is there's always next year.
But taking a look ahead, not everything is a loss. Even though cherries and peaches are looking to have a tough time in the Green Bluff area, Hansen says his apples might actually come out okay this season. In Green Bluff, Cody Proctor, KREM 2 News.
I'm outside the Moses Lake School District office where it just announced a second wave of workforce reductions. It impacts 85 classified staff, with 34 of those positions being reduced through attrition.
The Moses Lake School District is scrambling to find areas where spending can be cut after a massive accounting error. The district thought it had $11 million more than it did. Now it's facing a $20 million budget shortfall. So far, spending cuts have come at the cost of district jobs. The school district issued non-renewal notices to 100 teachers earlier this month. Now it plans to reduce its workforce by another 85 positions, impacting classified staff. Now, classified staff are district employees who are in positions that don't require a certification. This can include paraprofessionals, office staff, as well as custodians and transportation services. In a statement, the district says it recognizes the impact these reductions will have on the lives of staff, its schools, and students. It says these steps are essential to ensure its financial stability. In total, the district will have reduced its workforce by 215 positions. However, 100 of them are non-renewal notices that may be canceled if other budget cuts allow for teachers to be retained.
The district told me it does expect more reductions pending labor negotiations and through restructuring of non-union positions. Now, it says depending on contracts, these cuts will go into effect at the end of this school year or at the end of this summer. Now, I did reach out to the Moses Lake Education Association, which is the local teachers union, for their reaction to these additional layoffs. We'll share that statement when we receive it. Reporting in Moses Lake, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
So with this new closure, city officials and WashDOT crews are asking drivers to plan ahead of time and be prepared for a high traffic impact area. That closure officially begins today and will last until June 28th. Contractor crews will close Wellesley Avenue between Market Street and Freya Street, northbound lanes on the North Spokane corridor between the Wellesley Ave interchange and the Freya Street interchange will also be closed. Additionally, Haven Street is reduced to one lane southbound between Columbia Avenue and Rockwell Avenue. With all of that in mind, you may have to get out of the house a bit earlier if you drive this direction or use the route. Here's a couple of options. For westbound, you can head over westbound on Trent Ave or Sprague Ave, and then eastbound, you can also get on Trent Ave or Sprague. The city also has additional detour options listed on their website, and then also still ahead for construction season. Next week, a new project will begin between North River Drive and Spokane Falls Boulevard, where southbound lanes will be closed on Washington Street. That project will officially begin on Monday, June 3rd. But for now, reporting here in Spokane in the Hillier neighborhood, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
Take a look at this. We're getting the very first look at the Spokane Airport seat concourse expansion. It's state-of-the-art. There's new seats with outlets at each seat, new ticketing booths, and my favorite part, these gate pillars that actually change the name of what city you're flying to. The Spokane International Airport celebrated the grand opening of its C concourse expansion. The expansion will include 3 new gates, 6 ticketing booths, and the creation of nearly 1,200 jobs. The expansion cost $150 million. It couldn't come at a more perfect time for the airport. Last year, the airport saw the most number of travelers pass through the airport at 4.2 million travelers.
I think when you look at the expansion, I think the word that comes to mind is opportunity. We have to have more capacity here in order to take advantage of more opportunities.
The new terminal will also include some of the new local restaurants coming into the airport. These include Zona Blanca, Melt's Extreme, and Iron Goat Brewing Company.
The first flights out of this new terminal expansion are expected to take place sometime in June. In Spokane, Nathan Hyun, KREM 2 News. I'm here at the State Veterans Cemetery in Medical Lake. Take a look behind me. Each of these headstones have an American flag to honor the lives of those who served.
Honoring veterans who've passed and recognizing those who've served took place at the annual Memorial Day ceremony at the Washington State Veterans Cemetery in Medical Lake.
Today is about honoring those individuals that gave that last full measure and sacrificed their lives.
Rudy Lopez is the cemetery's director. He served 30 years in the United States Air Force.
This is really a way to honor my parents. My father was a vet, his brothers were all vets, and so it's important to our entire family.
Hundreds of people, both veterans and community members, came to pay their respects. The ceremony included color guard, a memorial tribute, and veteran speakers like Craig Fallon.
I'm a veteran, and I'm a very proud veteran.
Fallon is a former tomb guard for the unknown soldier at the Arlington Cemetery. He now lives in Coeur d'Alene.
It's a National Day of Awareness, and it's a day to stop and think about how fortunate we are to have, to be living in the United States.
Lopez says more than 10,000 veterans are interred at the cemetery. Each headstone had an American flag in front of it, including the headstone of Terry Ingwoodson's father.
This is the first time we've been here because he just got laid to rest.
Ingwoodson knows the importance of a day like Memorial Day.
Commemorates all of the men that served us so that we can have liberty and freedom, and honors them the way they should be honored.
The cemetery has hosted its Memorial Day ceremony ever since its opening in 2010.
This facility is just a treasure or gem for the community to be able to have a place of final resting for their loved ones.
Lopez says it's a tradition that will continue for years to come.
If you missed today, I'm told the State Veterans Cemetery is open year-round. People can come to the grounds to pay their respects at any time. In Medical Lake, Nathan Hyun, KREM 2 News.
It's a picture-perfect day on Lake Union. Wildlife fills the water here. And in tandem with these animals, a sad sight.
We see bits of styrofoam. So this is very, very common. So it's just a piece of styrofoam.
One of the top 10 materials found in cleanups hosted by Puget Soundkeeper.
It's pretty crazy.
Within just a few minutes of arriving, Emily Gonzalez, Puget Soundkeeper's Director of Law and Policy, finds a variety of trash washed up on the beach.
Earplug. Oh, that's another thing. We get earplugs.
It's this that drives her to change policy, getting to the root of the issue.
The burden is on the consumer. It's on the people who just don't have enough tools or money or resources or availability to be effective.
A new Washington law will change the responsibility. Starting June 1st, it will be illegal to sell polystyrene, commonly known by the brand Styrofoam. This ban includes the sale and distribution of takeout food containers like cups, plates, and clamshells, packing peanuts, and single-use coolers. And it's not just Styrofoam bans coming. Food packaging that contains PFAS will also be banned, says Department of Ecology's Marissa Smith.
These chemicals have rightly earned their name as forever chemicals.
Starting May 1st, many products will be banned that contain PFAS, including certain bags, bowls, cutlery, trays, open-top containers, and clamshells. These new additions are added onto the list that was implemented in 2023. which includes wraps, plates, food boats, and pizza boxes.
As a consumer, you might not notice the difference. It might look exactly the same, but the chemical that's used to provide that grease resistance so that the grease from your French fries doesn't end up in your lap is safer for you and safer for the environment.
The severity and longevity of these chemicals prompting this new push for change.
PFAS in the environment, they are very persistent, and so because they don't naturally break down as easily, we tend to find them everywhere. And that's a problem because they can get into our groundwater, and that can contaminate drinking water, which gets back to people. But we've also found PFAS in fish, and that impacts seafood resources. Hey, buddies.
And with Emily's front row seat at the direct impacts.
This just makes me want to get all the garbage out right now.
Like baby geese feasting on a beach littered with garbage.
I don't want you eating this, bud.
She's hopeful these two bans will correct this contamination problem.
I'm hopeful for it. A lot of times this issue and the issues, all issues around pollution seem huge and insurmountable, expensive, and there's just so much to do. It's hard to have the will to tackle it. But one thing I'm extra excited for this year is the push and the focus on producer responsibility.
I'm standing just off Newport Highway where Raising Cane's is eyeing a new location right here in North Spokane. Now, this vacant site used to be Burger King, but it was demolished 2 years ago.
Permits filed with the city of Spokane say Raising Cane's intends to build a drive-through restaurant and patio. Plans indicate the 3,300 square foot building comes with a proposed valuation of $1.3 million. This fast casual chain specializes in chicken fingers. Todd Graves founded Raising Cane's in 1996 in Louisiana. In a statement, Raising Cane's says they plan to begin construction of its Spokane location in November and open in the fall next year.
Now you'll notice Chick-fil-A is just right next door, and we know they have been eyeing some additional locations in Spokane.
At the start of this year, Chick-fil-A resubmitted a permit application for the South Hill location. It also filed an application near Gonzaga. Permit records show the Ruby and Cinto location is still under review. Now, the city of Spokane rejected the first proposal for the 29th and Regal location due to zoning restrictions. The latest application reduced the number of parking stalls that now meet the zoning requirements. But the permit portal indicates the application expires in August, which puts the future South Hill Chick-fil-A at risk. In January, City Council passed an emergency ordinance turning a section of 29th Avenue into a more pedestrian-friendly street. The ordinance prevents new drive-through businesses, but doesn't impact the ones that already exist. Chick-fil-A's South Hill location would be right in the middle of the impacted section from Martin to Fisk. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Take me through draft day. I'm sure it was a little stressful. It always is for everybody, but they didn't make you wait too long when the Rockies picked you, but just kind of take me through that day as a whole.
Yeah, that day was insane. It was very stressful, like you said. We knew who the top 3 picks were going to be, but after that, we had no idea what was going to happen. So it was just kind of like a, hey, you might go here, hey, you might go there, but at the end of the day, the Rockies picked me, and I couldn't be more grateful to them and appreciative that they're putting their trust with me. So I'm super happy with where I'm at, and hopefully they see that too.
Just overall thoughts on your season so far and how it's going here in Spokane?
Yeah, I think it's going pretty well. Obviously there's always something I want to work on and something I want to tweak, which right now it's just get my fastball command better. Stop walking people. It's kind of, I hate walking people. It makes me so mad. So yeah, that's just kind of my point of execution right now, is just kind of figure out what's going on. Maybe I'm doing a little too much with my mechanics or trying a little too hard. So right now I'm just trying to focus on, strike one.
How do you kind of attack here in the early season, especially some of these guys, there's not really any tape on? Like, how do you attack those guys?
For me, it's making them adjust to me.
Okay.
I don't really want to make adjustments to them. I want them to have to make the adjustments to me. That's just kind of how I look at it and how I want to attack hitters is hey, here's my fastball. If you can hit it, good. I'll throw other stuff at you. So that's just kind of the way I go about it. Obviously, I want to be able to throw more off speed and want to be able to do this and that, but for right now, my fastball's working pretty well for me, so I'm just going to keep throwing it.
Might as well, right? Something I've noticed out here shooting all the home games this year is on days when you're not pitching and the guys come off the field, you're always the first one on the top of the dugout giving daps. What does being a good teammate mean to you, and why is that so important?
It means the world to me because I want those guys to do the same thing for me. I know how tough pitching is because, I mean, I do it, so, and I know how tough hitting is because I get to pitch against those guys. So if I can just give a little bit of positivity to those guys and just be able to pick them up when they need it is huge for me. You know, like I said, it not only does it help them, it also helps me because I know I'm being a good person, I'm being a good teammate, and I love these guys to death, and I'd do anything for them, and I hope they know that.
Thank you for joining us on KREM 2 Plus for a look at some of the biggest news stories of the past week. For the most current news throughout the weekend, you can watch our latest newscast here on KREM 2 Plus. Just look for it at the bottom of the navigation menu. I'm Tim Pham. Thanks for watching.